Program top to bottom is outstanding. Be a tremendous challenge for us. I have the utmost respect for Dave and his staff. I think they're truly one of the best programs in the country, and do things the right way, and are great football coaches. Our staff, our team knows the challenges that we will have this week and the quality of the opponent we're going to be playing. So we've had a busy week in our preparation. I think we've done a great job with our preparation, and we're anxious to get down there and have an opportunity to play. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, just wait for the mic. Thank you. Just just get this one out of the way. Like, are there any preparations or contingencies for the?
You know, I think all these things are in discussion at this point. I'm not, privy to exactly, the details in my mind. I'm going to play a game on Thursday night and prepared for anything that may come our way.
Because the week is so short, like, how do you manage what decisions?
Right. So I mean, the week's short. So we had a revision Tuesday yesterday. We had our Wednesday today. We'll have our Thursday tomorrow and our Friday on Wednesday. And so we're right on schedule for our week. I feel good about where we are today. So we, came off of that game, and the next day we were right back at it. It's a challenge on the short week, but it's a challenge for both teams. Obviously a little bit more for a team that has to travel, but I feel good about where we are right now.
Steve, who makes the call on that, though, on a weather situation like that? Is the ACC or the schools have to agree? Is there any protocol?
I don't know. I've not been down this path in the ACC. I'm quite confident that Martin will be in contact with the conference office and the Wake administration, athletic administration. Quite frankly, I've been so engrossed in what, like, we rolled out of here Saturday. Many of the coaches were stayed after the game to get the film graded so that we could move on. We were in here at 6:45 on Sunday morning, and honestly, we're into the late night last night. So, like, I feel like I'm in a submarine right now. I just really don't have the time to pop up to listen, because it doesn't really, at this point, I'm not sure that, what I say is going to matter. And I really, if I don't have complete focus, you miss a day, so to speak, or your practice isn't right. You're done. There's no makeup on that now. So I've been pretty locked into it. I mean, I feel good walking in here. I just walked off the field. I feel like we had a good Wednesday, and and I'm getting ready to go in and watch that tape and see if we can, kind of come out from under the water, so to speak. It's been interesting.
What have you seen from Hartman? I mean, I'm just looking at his numbers. He looks like an efficient quarterback.
He's like John Wolford. I mean, he's a highly competitive guy. Looks like he's got a lot of it factor to him. He's going to take chances. He's confident. He does not play like a freshman by any stretch of the imagination. And I think he's very, very talented. And, and of course, he's got some good supporting cast. I mean, he really does. They found another guy. It's great. I mean, it's terrific for them, But he's a real good football player,
Two questions. First, just the thought on Dortch. Is he the kind of guy, especially when he's on offense, you just have to be aware of where he's at all times?
Yeah, he's a dominant, explosive guy in the ACC. As a return guy, as a receiver, I mean, he can alter the game. So, we've got a lot of attention to that right now. So he's one of the better ones I've seen. Obviously, I've seen a lot of good players in the ACC, never mind the other conference. This guy's as good as anybody. So it's a challenge for sure. Yep.
And a follow-up to how good have the first two games been for you, kind of laying that foundation, and now conference play begins against a team that beat you pretty good last year?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we played really well against UMass. I thought we came out really strong against Holy Cross. We were able to get people off the field. For me, I'm stuck between you know, I'm grateful that we're healthy and we got people off the field, but, you know, in the same breath, you know, we haven't stressed our ones to have to play a full game, and so some of those things worry me a tad. But I think we're playing at a pretty high level, and I think we're reasonably physically feeling really good. In terms of Wake a year ago, I think you know, we turned the ball over and gave away some real points in that game, taking nothing away from them. They played really. They had a really good football team last year, but we went into that game having to start a true freshman at center, and we had some issues in there. So I think. You know, this is a new year, and for both of us, for both teams. The thing that I fully understand is every time we've played Wake is there, and you know, a lot of times you get a little bit of this coach speak stuff, you know, about, oh, this guy's great and this coach is great and all this other jazz. But like, I really believe that Dave is an outstanding football coach. I really like and respect his staff. When you play them, they're really well put together. And so I have a lot of respect for them. So I expect this to be quite a big-time game for both teams. And, you know, we'll see, you know, we'll see when, where, how, and everything else this is going to go. But they're different than they were a year ago. We're different than we were a year ago. Let's see what happens.
Zach actually mentioned this, and it might not seem that way on paper because the school is so far apart, but this is actually kind of a rivalry. We kind of went back over to the 3-0 game to last year. There's actually like there's some tension when you guys on the field. But do you get that sense that there's something about these two games?
I think we, you know, both programs were in a rebuilding phase, and both programs were fighting tooth and nail to regain a piece of the ACC. And I think that's what you're sensing there. I think, you know, that's what's happened. If you just, you know, like I can only speak to, I think I'm here 6, Dave's probably into his 5th. I think he was 1 year behind me. But I think both teams are recruiting really hard. Both teams have really made a lot of strides. Both teams feel good about where their programs are. I think that's probably where you might feel like there's, you know, intensity there. And I think that's all accurate, you know. So both programs are in a foot race to climb the scale of the ACC conference. And there's some similarities with both places, academically, size. There's a lot. There are some similarities there. So I think that's where you draw upon those things. And you know, both programs have done well. You know, and we've been to 4 out of 5 bowls, and you know, we're both climbing. So it's a good contest, and we usually play each other early in the year. You know, so.
Wake Forest ranks in the bottom third of the country in pass defense. Is that something you've been targeting throughout this week, the short week?
Well, you know, it's hard for me, you know, to tell you, like, you know, stats and things. We're in week 3, and no one's played a, you know, neither one of us have played a conference game. So, you know, I think you're making assumptions. I mean, I'm not saying you, I'm saying us, we. You know, you're making assumptions right now. I'm really careful to do that until I see a body of work against in-conference opponents. And so, you know, I mean, what would and I don't even know, what would our stats look like? I mean, how do you know? I mean, my guys, you know, we pulling guys out of the game in the first quarter, you know, and I know that stats are good right now, but I'm just saying, you know, so when we come in on Sunday, like we present to the team, I do the summaries of both sides of the ball and special teams, champions, etc. Like you know, both weeks, like I based it on percentages off of, like, say, 40-something snaps or off of 27 snaps for the defense last week. I mean, I don't put it all in a bag and shake it up for those kind of games. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what the value of those stats are. I know they're not real to me. So, like, I'm assuming, you know, there's some of that going on there too. You know what I mean? So it's hard to know. Did 200? I mean, I see the film, but did 200 yards come, you know, when their ones weren't in the game? Did, you know, all that matters. Here's what I see. I see a really athletic team. They're very athletic. They have good team speed. They've got really quality players. I see that on the tape for sure. It's a whole different level of play than where we've seen the last 2 weeks, and it will be the same for them as well. I mean, that's a two-sided coin there. I mean, so both teams are going to have to ratchet things back up to a different level, and sometimes I think when people sometimes talk about week 3, I think it has a lot to do with however your schedule is. But like if you're like Wake and ourselves, we've had 2 weeks of non-conference opponent, and then you jump to a conference opponent. I think that's what everybody's interested to see. How did those 2 weeks work for you? And I think that's an interesting thing sometimes. You don't know, It's like, and we were a younger team a year ago, but how we started a year and then how we finished the year were quite different. They were the tale of 2 stories there, right? So there's a lot of that left to be played out here.
I know you've been busy, but have you gotten any feedback from Alon or anyone else just about how the Holy Cross game went, just in terms of reviving that old connection off the field?
No, I mean, I haven't spoke to anybody. I mean, it seemed like to me just, that there was a lot of fan interest, and there was some good fan turnout. So that's my sense, which I felt like was a good thing going in for these non-conference geographical tie-in games. I think it's good, But in terms of, I don't know. I haven't really spoke to anybody, and I mean, like you said, I mean, I wish I don't even, I feel like it was just Saturday at 2 o'clock right now, honestly.
This might be so long, but do you approach the kick game differently with George at all? Like, do you try to keep away from him?
I think there's got to be all kinds of strategies involved with him. I think he is a dangerous guy. So you got to be very, very careful what you're doing and have a good plan. And I think you got to have a lot of pieces to that, So obviously, I'm not going to go into detail because that's part of the strategy, But yes, your observation of do you need to be aware of him? 100%. And can he make an impact on the game? He absolutely can and has and will. So you got to account for all of that.